Welcome back. You're watching Nation Tonight. In a rare instance, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg apologized to families whose children had self-harmed after watching social media content. During a fiery hearing in the US Senate, Zuckerberg, who runs Instagram and Facebook, turned to them and said, and I quote, "No one should go through what they had gone through." Lawmakers wanted to know what tech giants are doing to protect children online. The US legislation is currently going through Congress, which aims to hold social media companies accountable for the material posted on their platforms. While the hearing mostly focused on the protection of children from online sexual exploitation, the questions varied widely as senators questioned five powerful executives. But at the heart of this hearing was what senators think about the attitudes of these companies towards online safety. Republican lawmaker Lindsey Graham even went on to say, and I quote him, "You've got blood on your hands, and that if you're waiting on these guys to solve the problem, we're gonna die waiting." So what stops tech giants from actually taking realistic, stricter measures to ensure online security? Let's get more perspective on this on the broadcast. I'm joined by NS Nappinai, Advocate Supreme Court, also the founder of Cyber Sathi. NS Nappinai, good evening, namaskar. Thank you very much for joining us on Mirror Now. You know, we've had this conversation earlier several times about online safety in the context of not just children, but adults as well. But this kind of a hearing, how much of an impact do you think would it actually have realistically on social media companies actually doing something about it?
Similar committee meetings and grilling of big tech earlier. So my hope is that now we are at a different situation. And the criticality here is as follows. The first and foremost is USA led the fray in offering what is called as a safe harbor for social media platforms. In simple terms, what it means is that social media will not be responsible for the content that's hosted or disseminated using their platform. Now, that emanates from USA's Communications Decency Act, Section 230. There have been many recent Supreme Court judgments also on it from the US, where they have still retained the sanctity of Section 230. This Senate hearing, I feel, may be a precursor to USA also relooking its Section 230. That is a first step. The second is I would strongly urge US also to look towards India now, because if you look at what India has done in terms of combating CSAM, as we call it, child sexual abuse material online, we have led the fray in this instance, because as far back as in 2017, the Supreme Court took cognizance of this problem in Prajwala. The citation reads as Prajwala letter dated 18/5/2015, violent videos and recommendations. In that, what the Supreme Court did was it set up a committee, and based on the consensus proposals in the committee, an order was passed. Today, when you look back in terms of what the impact of that order can be and what could be the next step in taking it forward, I would strongly again go back to the use of artificial intelligence. We have to use technology to fight technology-enabled crimes. So what the Supreme Court's recommendation or the order, I would say, recorded was for big tech to start deploying AI-enabled tools to fight crimes such as CSAM from such content being even uploaded or disseminated. So I feel we are now at the stage where all
Can
of
I
these
also then
technology
ask you, NS Nappinai, you know, how much of it is fair to actually ask social media companies to be held accountable for what is happening on their platforms? Yes, to a large extent they should be, which they're not currently, as much as they should be answerable and held accountable for the content that is going on online platforms. But the space is so ever evolving. The space is fast changing. Even as you and I speak right now, there must be 100 other new kind of tech features which have come into this space. How does one keep a tab?
Well, the technology companies know what they are deploying. So I just want to bring in this one fine distinction here. Responsibility is different from liability. we are still talking about responsibility and responsible technology here. And therefore, the issue here is about as and when social media platforms or big tech are evolving new technologies for enhancing their experience, the use of their platform, increasing the number of users, etc., they have to do so conscious of the fact of the impact that their platform has on their users and figure out how they can keep them safe. So, as much effort should be taken in safety of users as is being taken to enhance experience or increasing size. So, we're here talking about responsibility. The second part of it is liability in terms of to what extent will these platforms be held liable for the content on their platforms. And there I feel the safe harbor will continue, but with a little bit more checks and balances than what you have been seeing till now.
Okay, my last question, NS Nappinai, then, in terms of the legal procedures that we see, the US, of course, has the Kids Online Safety Act, which they are working upon. In India, we have the IT Act, and I know you've been an advocate of implementing these laws. You also voiced your opinion on how we don't need new laws, but we need the existing laws to be implemented more strictly. But what really is the way ahead then, in terms of the legal options that we have?
The first and foremost, what you already have are the intermediary guidelines, which provide you one takedown provisions where if you find content such as CSAM, it has to be taken down within 24 hours of it being detected. So you have the takedown remedy. You then have a remedy where the takedown is not done, then you have the grievance addressal committees, again, that emanates from the intermediary guidelines. And you also have under 4.4 the capturing of the Prajwala judgment, and one of the consensus proposals there, which is for platforms to enable AI enabled tools to put up warnings in the event that content which has already been taken down is attempted to be disseminated again. So these are all very basic remedies that you have at a user level without having to go to court or file criminal complaints, etc. Apart from these, you have the standard provisions in terms of approaching police and courts for remedies too. So today, there are multiple things, and one of the things that you've really captured very well, that which I have said so far, but one thing which I have also been repeatedly reiterating is about awareness amongst children in terms of how they should protect themselves from falling victim, and also when they should not cross the line and move into committing crimes. Because sometimes content which a child disseminates may actually militate against another child. It may impact adversely another child too. So these are all basic hygiene, cyber hygiene issues, which are also critical for users to know. But we can't put all the onus on users.
Sure.
Today, the tech companies are in a better position to deploy preventive measures, and that has to be relooked and improved upon. And I hope that the Senate committee hearings will not merely do a cathartic process, but will actually result in remedial processes being brought into effect.
Yeah. Yeah, all right, we'll leave it there. Hopefully, we will find a solution to this. NS Nappinai, always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you very much for coming on Mirror Now and sharing your perspective and helping us understand this situation better. Thank you very much.